I feel like that was the moment where I was like, well, she's one of the ones for the rest of my career, that like this scene in particular.
First you shun me, now this?
Is this game going there? Is it doing that? It's so grotesque and so funny. What if I just try to do this scene as both characters?
Hey, calm down.
That might have messed me up more than the actual death did.
Who was the man who helped Spider-Man?
It's so funny that you said it's the most annoying podcast you ever listened to, because the note was just be yourself. My favorite bit was probably, I mean, it's so saccharine, but it's probably working with my brother.
Hey Ash, what you doing?
I broke your stupid crap.
We started off doing a very goofy web series together called Hey Ash Whatcha Playin. That was sort of how we began. And Tiny Tina was my very first voice role. I think first ever professional acting gig, period, because I do not count Hey Ash as professional acting.
Just hold still now.
Wanker!
It felt like a continuation of Hey Ash, because it was, you know, my brother had written it. He sort of realized as he was writing it that he was writing it for me. I remember going into the booth and feeling really nervous because I'd always wanted to be a voice actor. Very quickly, it just felt like doing Hey Ash together.
All around the stackless plant, the stalker chased the bandit. The stalker thought 'twas all in fun. Pop! Goes the bandit.
That sort of like chaotic gremlin, cute but dangerous vibe is very similar to Ash. I don't exactly remember where I got the like, where she kind of goes like this sort of thing. That sounded like Fat Albert, what I just did. But I knew that if I did that sometimes it would make Anthony laugh. That was always the goal. I remember us all being like, are you guys sure? You want to do, really? Are you sure you want to do this? Because right, it was me and my brother and my dad. And I think it was one of the DLC for Saints Row. An idea that would be funny to like 5 people and then take it to as far past even its logical conclusion. So if there was gonna be a game to do it, it would be Saints Row. The memory that comes to mind actually is trying to find a voice recording studio in Phoenix for my dad.
Move over, I'm the shit at this game.
Trying to explain to the engineer what was happening. Because my brother and I went with him. So there's like a, 60-something guy saying extremely crude things, with his children in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't thought about that in so long. I mean, it was extremely fun to run around, blowing up cars and all that kind of thing with my dad and my brother virtually, but I'm still confused about why they did it. So actually, when I first came in to play Chloe, I had no idea how important she was to the story. And one of my first scenes was a scene with Chloe's stepdad, David. And I assumed, I think because I was still pretty early in my career as well, that it was like a side character. Maybe she was like a side mission, or mission is weird to say that for Life is Strange, a side story. And then it was only until they kept bringing me back and I kept seeing more and more that I was like, oh, she's a massive part of this game.
Thanks for taking the heat. We totally smacked his punk ass down, Max. He's no match for you and me now. That was an epic win.
I remember my director, Phil, encouraging me to look ahead in the script so I could see where we were headed. And it's the chapter where you find Rachel in the junkyard.
Please no. Oh, that smell. Rachel. No, Rachel, no, please not her.
At least for me, it shifts things in the game. Like, it's a bit of a you can't go back after that. It's things get a lot darker from that point on. It really impacted me. And I had just gone through a loss. And so it gave me, I already loved Chloe, but then I felt like, I don't know, trauma bonded or just bonded to her in a really visceral way. I feel like that was the moment where I was like, well, she's one of the ones for the rest of my career, that like this scene in particular.
Chloe, slow down. Wait for me. I know exactly where I'm going.
Up to that point, it was either comedy characters or sort of like a character in a MOBA doing call-outs, but that was a very like narrative heavy game. It was a massive step up for me in terms of helping to really carry a narrative. I played a little bit of Mortal Kombat when I was younger. Obviously, everyone knows the franchise. And Johnny Cage, I mean, she's Johnny Cage's daughter, so of course it follows. But Johnny Cage is funny, but I didn't really remember many other characters in Mortal Kombat being funny. So when I found out that I was Johnny's daughter, I was very excited. And also like just so delighted at how funny they wrote her.
Cassie wins.
And I think my favorite moments of recording were the moments when you can fight yourself. So there are different intro lines, of course, based on who you're fighting. And we did a whole block of like, if Cassie fights Cassie. So it's just like self-owning back and forth, which is really fun.
Real funny. Know what's funny? Your face. Dude, you just insulted yourself.
She had really awesome fatalities. What is it? She shoots them in the head and then like blows a bubble into like the cavity that the bullet left or something insane like that. So funny and so grotesque and so funny. The thing I loved about her was that she was such a fan. She knows their backlog of the cool fights that they've been in and all this, you know. So the really fun part about her character was getting to imbue the performance with that. Because I'm a fan also, and I fangirl.
I was really hoping to catch Hulk for one of those Hulk selfies I keep seeing online. I figured one with the ships in the background would be pretty hype, right?
I remember there being a block of that Excel spreadsheet that was just like, this person pops up, now this person pops up, now this person pops up. And the fun thing about that is also like, because you don't want it to be the same level of excitement and the exact same response, so then there's like creating and curating like, oh, maybe she likes this person a little bit more than this person actually, and like that kind of thing. She finds out who Elizabeth is, that she's a clone, that she, you know, it wasn't her mother, it was her. She's sort of shell-shocked, and then all of the Nora fall to their knees and start praising her, basically, this group of people that have ostracized her up to this point.
Aloy, forgive. Forgive. The goddess spoke to you?
She did.
So she gives a speech, basically, where she's pissed, frankly, and is like, can I curse? I should have asked all of this before we started recording. Basically, don't f***ing worship me. In a way, like, how dare you after the way you've treated me my entire life. And also, you're all idiots. You're all such simple-minded, closed-minded idiots.
All praise Aloy, anointed of the Nora. Up. All praise Aloy, anointed of the Nora.
First you shunned me, now this?
That's the moment for her, obviously where she gets the answer that she's searching for that entire game, but also sets her on this path that I think she's on for the second game.
It's a world worth fighting for. Not just here, everywhere.
There was always a gap between her and everyone else because she was an outcast, but in my mind, from my perspective when I was performing, she always wanted to close that gap, or she wanted something that would help her close that gap. The information that she gets in Mother's Heart just widens it even further. She wanted to expand her world, then she closed herself off, and then she has to learn to expand it again. So that moment for me is it was really fun to perform. And then also, I feel like it sets her up as the character that she is for a lot of Forbidden West, like sets up what will be her conflict for the next game. We started production before the pandemic, and then it had to continue into 2020. So I didn't get to be on the mocap stage for the entire game. It was really wild the way that, I mean, and amazing how everyone adapted to that circumstance. So I had a head camera rig in my house. Probably the moment during that leg of production that sticks out to me the most was I basically played against myself.
So, Aloy, I suppose you want information.
I had the notion of, what if I just try to do this scene as both characters? So rather than like going and recording Aloy and then going back and recording Beta, I was like, let me just do the scene switching off so I can get the shape of it.
You're too far behind. We're never going to beat them. Everything, everyone, are going to die. Hey, calm down.
Beta's having a breakdown, basically, and wondering why she's not as capable or as strong as Aloy in her mind. Basically, putting on the hat and then taking off the hat and putting it back on, doing that scene that way is probably the main memory that I recall.
It's almost probably the closest you'll have got to doing like the Gollum scene, right? Where
yes,
it's kind of like
yeah.
Smeagol.
Absolutely, yeah. It was very Gollum, yeah. I think my favorite part of Parvati was finding out, I think, that she's asexual, because I can't recall another game that I've played with a storyline like that.
I just got a lot of feelings, Captain, and they're all climbing up my throat. I need another drink. Right now. Before I lose my nerve.
And I remember recording the lines initially where she's sort of confiding in the player character about having been in a relationship before, and she's being sort of coy about it. And I remember thinking, like, is this game going there? Is it doing that? It was just really cool. I'd never seen that before. The fact that you as the player can be her sort of like relationship coach is very sweet. And then of course, if you want to be an absolute monster and kill her love interest, there's the horrifying plot line there where you can hear me scream and sob at you.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I can't look at you. You make me sick.
I didn't do that. And I thought that storyline was really, really sweet and really well handled. I'll do a sweet one to start. So Mel has a dog. That dog was there's a mocap dog actor on set. So there is a picture of me with a fake pregnant belly posing very happily with a dog in a little mocap suit with the little balls all over. He's a really good boy. But the thing that was really interesting to me about working on The Last of Us for the uninitiated, game efforts are anytime that you as a character do some sort of exertion. So it could be fighting or jumping or attacking, usually nonverbal, but just sort of like those efforts, grunts, whatever, that give fight scenes or even just like environmental movement sort of life to them. The Last of Us 2 had the most specific effort sessions I've ever done in my career. They were broken down by type of weapon. And then for me, there was a difference of where I was being attacked. So if I was getting hit in the neck, that's different than if I'm getting hit in the belly, because then it's not only the pain of having an axe go in, but it is the horror of, oh no, my unborn child. Machete, axe, pistol, shotgun, like they all needed to have different impacts and different sounds, which I had never really experienced in a game before. Usually it's like light, medium, heavy attacks or damage. There was this sort of characterization in it because of the fact that she was pregnant. So there were moments of not just like anguish, but also the like emotional and physical anguish combined. That might have messed me up more than the actual death did. You
almost played Danika in Spider-Man, which is one of the most annoying podcasts I've ever sort of listened to.
It's so funny that you said it's the most annoying podcast you ever listened to, because the note from one of the devs was, just be yourself.
All love to my legal eagle friends, but some days you just gotta say it. Screw you, lawyers. All right, see you next time, kids.
There's a podcast where she talks about getting her citizenship, which I thought was really cute. I think she's like she's like waiting in line or something. I'm like, girl, you podcast everywhere. You don't have like a setup? I loved playing Kate. I love comedy in games and I love funny characters. That's actually one of the more fun auditions I've ever done.
Oh, hey, what's up? What took you so long? Fighting robots? Ha, me too.
This is such a no-no, by the way, if you're an aspiring voice actor, don't do this in an actual session. But I was like, could I get a snack? And I like ate peanuts while I was like doing one of the lines, so I'm kind of like talking outside of my mouth and like.
Very hate.
I had that thought when I was in the callback, and I was like, I think this would be funny if she's just like delivering this exposition, but she's so kind of blasé, and she's just like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat, like while I talk to you. She's like the type of person, like the sort of Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11 is gonna eat no matter what's going on kind of character. And that's sort of what sticks out to me about her.
Iron Pants?
Nuh-uh.
Bucket Man?
No.
Tin Titan?
Kinda like that one.
The idea that there would be a sitcom that takes place in a game studio. If this is popular enough that the dude that made Always Sunny wants to make a sitcom about this space, then a shift has happened.
We are bouncing back with the help of our head of monetization, Rachel Meyee. She is gonna make this company more money than that virus ever did. Ain't that right, Rach?
No, no.
So yeah, I started as a writer and then ended up auditioning for and getting cast as Rachel. And yeah, her arc has been really interesting because sort of starting last season, but much more so this season, we discovered what makes her funny is to basically be an idiot savant. So yeah, I feel like we kind of locked into her more in season 4. Based on that, probably, I have 2 moments that I really loved this season. One is there was a murder mystery episode, and I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't watched it, but the Rachel stuff in that was very fun to do. And then there's an episode where, for various reasons, Rachel feels the need to defend child labor to Congress. And so it's basically trying to convince them to let the Roblox equivalent young developers that they have making games for Playpen, which is the Roblox equivalent in Mythic Quest.
Playpen users are making sex games. We can't have kids see these.
David, kids make these.
David Brittlesby?
Aye.
You've been served.
I have to appear in front of Congress.
What exactly is the good in profiting off of children?
I do not recall.
It was an EP on SideQuest, which is a spin-off of Mythic Quest, and that was my first time running a show. It felt like an extension of sort of the stuff that I was already doing in a way that was sort of affirming, like writing and directing are sort of like microcosms, I think, of that. The second episode is called Pull List, and it's about a Black-owned comic book store and a group of Mythic Quest fans that are fighting over a single Mythic Quest comic book that's come into the store that day. And I really love that episode a lot.
It's not like there's a lot of Black characters in comics.
There are some we claim as Black.
Skeeter from Doug, Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z.
Big Bird?
Sir, are you dead inside?
It was really fun. One of the writers on that episode was having to teach different members of the cast how to play Magic the Gathering, which I think was like his actual dream come true. So that memory is also very good.
If you like that video and you want to see something similar, why not check out our series called My Best Shots, where we get famous movie directors like Ridley Scott and Denis Villeneuve to share their favourite compositions from their biggest movies. And for everything else, be sure to stick with IGN.